Hi everyone, I'm Prinsan Vinesred from BS Computer Engineering 17, and for today we are going to make a personal information storage which consists of two programs. So for the first program, it will collect personal information from the user and store it in a dictionary. This program will then write a file from the gathered information which will be later read and processed by the second program. The second program will read the file and prompts the user to enter any name they wish to search for. If the name exists, the program will display that person's personal information. Let us now start. So for the first program, I started it by initializing a dictionary where all inputted information will be stored. Next, since we've been doing related programs like this, I immediately defined invalid characters for different fields of information using variables. After that, I created a main while loop to ensure the program's smooth flow in checking for errors. I then started to create while loop for each field of information starting with the name. Using the defined invalid characters for name, I used that to ensure that the name inputs will be valid. Next, for gender, since we're basing it biologically, I strictly made two options which are female or male. I used the lower and strip functions to handle all cases and to remove spaces, making it easier for the program to handle inputs. And also, in case that the user type anything other than these two, it will print an error message. I will also use this kind of conditions for other fields of information that have options. Next, I also created a while loop for age to ensure that the input will be a number. I also included here a try except block so that the program will only accept number inputs. Next, we will create a while loop for marital status. This field also has options such as single, married, separated, divorced, and widowed. So we will incorporate the condition that only these options are accepted. And if there are inputs that are not in these options, an error message will appear. Next, for address, there are characters that are acceptable such as the pound or number sign, letters, numbers, and so many more. Reason why I made a variable separate from the name for invalid characters. That we did earlier. We will just make this loop check if the input contains any invalid characters for address, and if it has, it will print an error message. Next, we will make a loop for the phone number. Notice that I didn't use any variable for invalid characters here. This is because in number, may it be local or international format, only numbers as well as the plus sign and dash is allowed. So it has more invalid characters than valid ones. And to save time, we will just check if the input in this field are digit and if it follows the allowed characters. Lastly, for email, I also made a variable a while ago as there are a lot of characters not accepted in this field, even spaces. So this will print an error message if any invalid character is in the inputs. Now, what I like to do is to confirm the inputted information. This is to ensure that all details are correct because sometimes user can have typo errors. So we will add another while loop for confirmation. This will display the inputs of the user and will ask if it is correct. So to make it more pleasing to the eyes, I will add text colors, but first, let us define color variables using ANSI codes. So here, I will just use formatted string and will pick a color that I want for the display. So for error messages, I will also modify it later. I will make it red, and for displaying the information in the confirmation, which is this, I will use different colors to easily differentiate them. I also added condition here where answer could only be yes or no. If the information is correct, then it will be stored in a dictionary. So if the information is incorrect, the user have the choice to retry any field of information that they wish for. So here in retry choice, the user can choose one field of information such as name, gender, age, marital status, address, phone number, or email to retry. The user input should only be under these options, and if they are not in these options, the program will print an error message. So for here, we will just make a retry choice for every field of information, and we will also incorporate while loops here, just like what we did earlier. That's why I just copied the while loops we made earlier to save time, as these choices will also go through the same process of asking for valid inputs. We will also ask the user if they want to input another person's information. Again, the answer to the question should only be yes or no. If the user wishes to make another entry, the loop will break. And if they do not want to, then the program will stop. So here, I just added a condition for the age, since based on my research, the oldest known person alive so far is 116, and I made it just 120 years old in case there are people out there who are older. If the person is months old only, I suggested that users type 1. Now, our goal is to store all of the information inputted in the file. Since we're storing the information in a dictionary, it will be much easier for us to use modules. So thanks again for W3 Schools for their recommendations about this. I first tried Pickle module, so I imported the module and used Pickle dump to dump all the info in the dictionary to a file. But unfortunately, it has symbols and nulls that are not readable, so I opt not to use it. Next suggestion is the JSON module, so I imported it first, and the file, which is in this case in JSON format. This is still a text file, but it is in JSON format because it is recommended to use it to avoid any problems. So I dumped the contents of the dictionary in the file using JSON dump, and after that, we will print a message to let user know that the information they inputted is saved. So as you can see here, it is working really well, but I didn't like the format, so I will just put some indents here. As you can see, this one is much better, so now we will move on to the second program. So for the second program, I also imported JSON module in order to use its features. This will open the file and read it. So first of all, this program will ask the user whose information they want to access. And we need to check first if the inputted name exists, so to do that, we will use if statement. If the name is in the file, the program will print the name and the information of that person. If it is not, it will print an error message saying that no information is found for the given name. After this, I prompt the user if they want to access other names. Of course, the answer should just be yes or no. If the user inputted other answer, it will print an error message. But if the user wants to search information for another person again, the program will continue. Here, I just added some text colors so that the details can be displayed beautifully. So that's pretty much all of it for the personal information storage. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching.